Comes online.
Okay, 9 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Planning and Development Committee meeting to order at 9 a.m. Approval of the agenda. Anybody have any late items?
Just moving item C. Was in Boulevards bylaw up to. Just to give Daryl a chance because we don't have him for long, so.
Yeah, you bet. I was gonna do that. All right, stop. So we'll move that item C up to MA and we'll get that out of the way so the boys can do their next meeting. Okay.
And
Right.
maybe just one thing about item D, if we're gonna talk about OCP, I wonder if we should be talking about bylaw 1000 in conjunction with it.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that. All right. Perfect. Perfect, okay. Recommend the Planning and Development Committee meeting agenda for June 7th be approved as amended. Mover Ian, seconder John. All in favor? Okay, just let everybody know Deb's in flight today. She'll be online after, so. Unless she, no, that's Pam.
Morning, Pam.
Okay, adoption of the minutes. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting? Right, recommend that the minutes of the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on May 17th be adopted. We have a mover. Ian, John seconder, all in favor? Okay, development service update, applications. I think that will be Scott.
Yeah, don't think we have any new applications since our last meeting. But yeah, you can see the staff. Here to answer any questions.
Okay, just a quick one on the 534. Everything still go ahead on that or?
Everything's still not a go ahead on that.
Okay,
Development permits still stuck in that site identification process.
yeah,
2 building permits have been issued for the property, 530 and 534. So
okay. How long, do you have any idea how long you're gonna take to get that released so it'll come to council?
yeah, no idea. I don't even know if they've where they are, I guess, because they're working with the province, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anybody else have anything on to add there? How about the stop work order permit on Neil Werther's? Did you guys get that kind of sorted or moving?
well, yeah, we're working with his contractor to get the information for the building permit.
You're still waiting on information? Okay. All right. Anything else on the current applications? Okay, thank you, Scott. We'll move ahead on that. Okay, oh, I messed up. I guess I should move item C. Item C here. Okay, we'll move on to item C, proposed district roads and boulevards bylaw. I just wanted to, I'll start off by saying that I spent a lot of time going through the bylaw a couple times and going through it thorough a couple times. And then I asked yesterday, I asked for the old one and I basically put them side by side and started looking at them. And I just, my opinion is that it's a huge document. It's not just amendments or just upgrades, you know, housekeeping. It's a lot of big city stuff. And I'm not comfortable at moving it to council yet. I mean, if everybody thinks that we want to move it to council, I'm okay with it, but I just, it's too big of a document. And when you place the old one and you look at it, I mean, it's actually a good bylaw. I mean, the old one's a good bylaw. It just needs some updating. And I think we've updated this to almost a landscaping. It's got a lot of landscaping. You know, there's just some big things in there. There's some, you know, I mean, we even talk about tree, soil and sediment bylaw. You know, it refers to a tree, soil, sediment bylaw, which I don't know if we even have the district has a tree soil sediment bylaw. Talks about insurance and things like that, and it doesn't refer to a lot of stuff about fees, like what does it cost to get one of these? You know, every time you need a permit, if you want to work on your boulevard or work on your land and your trees in the way and you need a permit, there's no costs involved that I can see. So I'd like some more time on it and you know, that's where I stand, and I just wanted to you know, mention that. Anybody else have anything else?
Oh, well, I feel exactly the same. I mean, I went through it several hours yesterday and I feel like I haven't gotten a really great grip on it even myself, but I mean, certainly I'm learning lots about drip lines from trees and setbacks from those things that, you know, these are new things in the bylaw, right? And, you know, I don't want to sound critical here, but I do want to give some constructive feedback. You know, when we have a report that comes to council that has new items in it, these items should be highlighted. They should be highlighted clearly that these are new and these are things that would change our current bylaw in X or Y. I mean, this is part of the process to properly advise, you know, board of directors. In this case, it's council. And I don't feel like this was properly communicated in that fashion. I just looked through the, you know, the presentation and it's, you know, sure, maybe parts of it is updating and making it easier to understand, but there's also a lot of new stuff in it. And that's the stuff council needs to know, because at the end of the day, we implement this. And if people come back and they say, hey, that's new, why do I have to start doing that? Then the next thing you know, Gord's phone starts ringing, mine starts ringing, and then we're back into this cycle of, okay, well, you know, what is this? And, you know, it's important that the whole system kind of works in a way where the people that are approving this understand exactly what they're approving as well. So I'm with Gord that I think we have to do some more homework and understand exactly what the pros and cons of all these things are. I mean, my de facto kind of approach on bylaws is less is more, you know, just because it actually, I think, creates better clarity in people's minds of how to actually comply rather than to get to a level of complexity that we might not necessarily need here. I mean, regulations are good, but regulations have to be balanced with the need for them. And certainly, you know, I have lots of questions about, you know, do we need all these prescriptive proposals around protecting trees on boulevards? You know, Vancouver has them, other cities have them. I understand that. But we're about 2,500 people. We're a small community, right? So we got to put things into perspective on what we need here. So yeah, I'm with Gord, you know, to have some more time with it. And I don't think it's before council yet. And I'm glad it's come back to this committee. That's the other thing I'd just like to make a point of. I made a point of it at council is I think it should have came here to begin with, because I do think it has development implications. Certainly I can see setbacks for trees and other things having potential development implications and you know, effects on that. So yeah, that's my view on it. Thanks.
I as well, I did come up with a whole bunch of questions I had, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I did not actually review the previous bylaw to see where the comparison difference, and that's where I do like Ian's idea of having them highlighted on what the differences are as well, what we're actually changing in this bylaw amendment, because I did have quite a few different questions in regards to what was going on in this document. So I as well would agree to more time.
Okay,
That's what you guys are thinking.
that's good. Sarah, are you okay with that? There's not a rush for this, is there?
Up to Daryl.
Yeah, no, I think we're fine. I want to get this right. If we're gonna have a team effort and something that encompasses a bunch of departments and all the community, let's get it right. So yeah, no, I appreciate the feedback, and I think we can take some steps to make what we've got better and make it clear as to what the differences will be.
Okay.
Right.
All right. No, sounds good. We'll keep working on it and we'll keep moving it forward and whether we, amend the old one or completely revise it to this one, we'll keep working on it. Scott, did you have anything you want to add to it?
No, it's all Daryl's bylaw, so.
Okay, all right, thank you. Moving right along, new business. Development variance permit 23-107 DVP number 1. Call. Who's gonna take that one over? Thanks, Daryl. Thanks, Jeremy.
Through the chair. This is the location for 1 Montcalm Crescent. It's accessed through Sycamore Creek Frontage Road. And it is designated as residential low density within the OCP and zoned as R1, 1 and 2 unit residential within the zoning bylaw. So the owner is proposing an accessory building towards northeast of the existing residence. And during the building permit review process, it was identified that the proposed accessory building has floor area of 111, whereas the permitted accessory floor area is 100 square meters. So a variance permit was required. So this proposal is for that. And this building would be used as garage and storage for boats. So the applicant specifically said that, it would help him a lot, especially to store boat during winters, like the safety and security of that. So we are varying section 3.4.4B for the maximum parcel coverage from 100 meters square to 111.1 meters square. And these are some elevation images, and we did send this to referral to the internal departments. No one had any major comments or concerns. We're still waiting for the response from building inspector. Hopefully we'll get that today. And the notifications for all the neighbors within 50 meters had been sent last week. We didn't receive any responses yet. But if we receive any responses, that would be included next week's council meeting before that. Yeah, and the applicant is present online if you have any questions. They're online.
Great, thanks, Stephanie. Well, I'll read the recommendation first and then we'll see if there's any questions. But the Planning and Development Committee recommended to council to authorize to issue development variance permit 23-170 DVP for the property legal described as lot 48, section 19, township 21, range 7, west of the 6th meridian, Kamloops Division, Yale District Plan 12788, located at number 1 Montcalm Crescent, to vary Sycamore zoning bylaw 1000 2022 section 3.4.4B, the maximum parcel coverage from 100 square meters to 111.1 square meters for an accessory building. Can I have a mover? Ian, seconder. John, any discussion?
I have a question.
Eddie?
Yeah, so we're putting 11 meters squared on this, and it looked like just a normal size garage by the pictures. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yeah, it's just within the general regulation for accessory building.
Yeah.
There is a requirement for like how big can you. Like based on the zoning, it's supposed to be 100 meters squared, but then the total area when calculated is 11.1. I added 0.1 in case if it goes much. But I think he's planning on having like in future, maybe like having a shop or a suite there. I see that in the floor plans, they have the bathroom fixtures where they're supposed to be. And there are some standards for the bathroom fixtures, and he knows that too, like how big of a washroom he can have. But yeah, this variance would help him to have all that in future, so he doesn't have to vary that later.
But normally, like 100 meters square would be large. I guess where I'm getting is, do we have the right number for what should be the accessory building? I talked about this the other time when we were commenting on surface areas or coverage areas, we were talking about infill. And I just wonder if we had the right number, right? maybe it should be 120 instead of 100, right? So, it gives a little bit more of a coverage area. And I mean, we were talking about that with infill too, right? Like, I think we picked 40% coverage area or somewhere around there, why is it 40%? Could it be 50%, right? So I guess I'm just getting, is this number a problem? Or is it going to be an ongoing problem between what people want to build and what we're setting in our rules? I don't know if somebody wants to take that.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think what you're probably saying is like, if we're gonna do amendments.
Right.
To the zoning bylaw,
Yeah.
we're already receiving one amendment already. Is it the right number? So
Right.
maybe Scott or Sarah could comment.
I guess my only comment is, we did have someone build a pretty big garage over on Parksville, and this committee said, hey, we want to have a say in what these things are going to look like. So I think 100 square meters, satisfies it. Anything larger than that could really impact the neighborhood. And this committee wanted these things brought to them. So I don't know if 100 square meters is right, but it's what's in the bylaw now.
Yeah, and you feel it's right? Pretty good. Go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to add to that, because of some of the things that we're seeing starting to come through for things like coach houses, and because we do consistently receive complaints about the size of these accessory buildings in our residential areas, where I'm actually proposing to reduce the floor area in the R1 zone specifically for these kind of buildings to 80 square meters. It still allows for a good sized shop. Like that was the intention originally under the old bylaws, so that people could park their RV or their boat inside a building, so that was less schmutzy looking, right? Those were one of the concerns. So it's still big enough for that, and it still would require people to come for variance, and then it would give this committee some level of negotiating leverage to ensure that the building was something a little more attractive and maybe not a Quonset like what went in on Parksville.
Yeah. No. Good points. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think this will be something, maybe part of a bigger discussion. So yeah, no, I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I have a motion to bring this forward to the council. Ian, seconder, John, all those in favor? Carried. All right. Moving right along, item B here, development permit 23-159. Number 1 Sycamore Creek frontage road. Who's gonna take this one over? Scott?
Fine. So this is a development permit. It's a watercourse development permit. So the part of that process is that QEP report be created, submitted to the province, approved by the province, been approved by the province, so meets our conditions of our watercourse development permit. So we're recommending that it be issued. I think everybody's familiar with the property. It's not too far from One Montcalm. And it's just at the south end of the town. Official community plan is low density residential. And if we move forward, the zoning is R1. So the R1 is actually along the creek. So that's Wiseman Creek, I believe. So you can see the zone actually is right along creek. So very good depiction of exactly where the creek is and why we required the development permit. Here's a drawing that shows you can see the lots they're proposing to create, and then it shows the setbacks from the creek. So it's 10.3 meters from Wiseman Creek and then 15 meters from Mara Lake. And then there are a number of conditions that are required. So this drawing was submitted as part of that QEP report that went to the province. And then the conditions. So just setting out what the SPE is, protection of trees during construction, sediment control, stormwater control, just limiting the encroachment into the SPIA, and then environmental monitoring during construction. So those would be the conditions. And again, staff's recommending that this be forwarded to council for the next step.
Great. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and read the motion here. that the Planning Development Committee recommend council authorize the issuance of development permit 23-159 DPV development permit for the property legally described as subdivision 12 of section 19 containing 38.30 acres more or less, township 21, range 7, west of the 6th meridian, Kamloops Division, Yale District, except they're out and they're from the land covered by water and Mare Lake at the time of the survey, and the said lake except plan H741 located at number 1 Sycamoose Creek frontage road to facilitate a 14 parcel single family residential dwelling subdivision. Can I have a mover? Ian, seconder, John? And discussion, anybody have any comments?
Just a question. The site is 38.3 acres, but what's the buildable area? Because I understand the other kind of section is not even, it's not able to build on. Do we know?
I don't know what the buildable area is. No.
Okay, Scott, I had a question. I was out yesterday looking at, well, both this property and the one, just the other one that wanted the garage. And I ran into one of the residents there and they're again asking me, I've had a few people ask me about a fence as the developer. And I know we didn't have it in there, but again, a lot of the residents, I think now 4 different residents along the north border are now really exposed because the trees have all come down and their backyards are really exposed. So just, you know I talked to Grayson about a fence and I just told him I would keep reminding them that the owners are really well exposed now and then this is going to become a public road and now their backyards are completely exposed. So just keep them aware that, a lot of the residents are requesting a fence and it is a higher end subdivision. You'd think you want some, privacy from other people coming into the new residential area. So I just thought I'd make you aware and this gentleman last night was asking me again. So I said, I'd bring it up today. Okay. All right. No, I'm good with this. Everybody else all right? Okay, can I have a mover? Ian, seconder, John? Okay, carried. Great. Well, I guess that was a pretty quick meeting. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, the OCP review and the bylaw 1000. Scott, I just kind of asked for that to be put on there. Just give us a heads up and, are you thinking we're going to start on it this year or we're going to start on it next year? Didn't know.
Yeah, and I guess my question is like, what scope and scale do you want this for the OCP review? I think kind of with some of the things coming in and, as staff, we're always reviewing it. With the housing strategy, there's some proposed amendments to the OCP, some things like that. We're looking at, kind of our procedures bylaw and those types of things to help streamline that front end application process. So that's our focus right now. But I guess, what are you looking for as far as a review? Like how do you see it taking shape?
Okay, yeah, no, I was, the whole community revolves around the OCP and everybody is indicated, you don't want to get too old and stagnant, because then it's a major overhaul. So I was curious to see when we're, I know it's been on the radar, but didn't know what your timing was. And myself, I like to focus on the waterfront because the waterfront is becoming very, very restrictive and, good review of that as well in the OCP. And so that was my comments. Yeah. But I'm not pushing any time or it should be done by the end of the year or anything like that. I'm just curious to see on the timing.
Yeah.
Our staff is looking at it.
Yeah, I think as we get time and kind of starting with our procedures and then working from there, we'll probably have some ideas for, we're probably looking at the development permit areas. That's probably a section that is probably the farthest behind. I think with the housing strategy, there's a pretty big change to the residential housing section.
Yep.
So you'll be seeing those. But yeah, maybe, probably it's not gonna be until September, but maybe in September we'll book some extra time for a little bit of a workshop or something, just to go over the OCP, the different sections and kind of our ideas of where we think they can be changed.
Yeah, okay. And this one other comment on it, I don't think we need to, I don't think we do, as a group to get a committee together like we had on the last OCP review. And I mean, that was a long drawn out process. I think we, you know, now that I mean, you know, having a workshop is a great idea. And letting staff or council know ahead of time that, you know, that start to get your comments together and, you know, and start looking at it.
Yep.
You might want to be looking at it in the fall for updating.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, great. Yep. Ian, you had something on the bylaw 1000?
Well, I guess that my only point would be they kind of go together. You know, whatever we did on OCP to take a look at bylaw 1000. I think we probably should. I mean, my opinion on bylaw 1000, we probably should start a review sooner rather than later. Just, I know we've been talking about it, some of the things that have come up with setbacks recently, but there could be others that I know we've heard from the community on some of the issues with bylaw 1000. I mean, maybe it's probably not the right time to do it in the summer, but if we're going to go into a discussion about OCP, I think kind of it being done in conjunction would make sense. And fix any of the things in bylaw 1000 that we might have missed. So that's the only reason. I just think they're probably closely linked.
Yeah. Well, we were meeting, you know, just to kind of review the amendments for the bylaw 1000 for some of the key developers that were wanting adjustments. Are we planning on meeting again, or is there anything we need to go over soon? Is there any pressing permits that are on hold until this, you know, especially with Terry Gold? Is there anything we have to worry about? You know,
I'm meeting with the Sycamore Sands. I've met with them a couple times. So I'm meeting with someone at Sycamore Sands, just talk, they put an application for some variances and I said, well, instead of just doing one-off variances, let's look at everything in your park and here's the zone and let's figure out. So then, yeah, we can hopefully address Sycamore Sands, Silver Sands, and then any other RVP zones and just kind of get them all separated out and probably move towards, you know, some amendments or some specific zones for each one of them. So.
okay. Scott, are you thinking that's going to happen this summer? Or
Yeah, it'll happen.
yeah, okay, yeah. All right. Great. Well, thanks for the update. That's great. Okay, anybody else have anything else? No, we're good. I guess we can adjourn this meeting. Recommended the Planning and Development Committee meeting for June 7th, 2023 be adjourned at 9:30. Motion by Ian, second by John. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any thought